So we've reached the climax of the Goku versus Moro battle, and Goku has decided to abandon his plan of conserving his stamina so that he can hold on to the Ultra Instinct form longer because he needs the extra power. He's realizing that he needs to go all out to try to defeat Moro as fast as possible. And Whis actually definitely confirms this, and I really actually enjoy the cutting between the tension-filled, action-packed stuff of the Moro versus Goku, and also Whis and Maris, and then especially Vegeta, which is some of my favorite stuff in this chapter. But the intensity of their power-up here is really great. I love the art, especially this panel of Goku with the lines in his hair and just his facial expression. You know that he is super serious. I also love the rocks, them just destroying the earth as they power up. It really takes me to the old Namek days. But speaking of power-ups, definitely make sure to subscribe to my main channel for power-up in your subscriptions for some quality content. So what's interesting about this power-up is it's essentially a power-up aura grapple. Now they do this, but then later on they have an actual grapple lock, which I thought was very interesting. So what was kind of awkward about this scene is that they start running toward each other. So really cool and interesting because you can feel the tension there and them like just pushing against each other. But it was kind of like when you think about them just trying to run up against each other, kind of weird. But Goku wins this. Now this is very important as Goku seems to be on top, as Gohan notes here. Now it's nice to cut away to spectators on the sidelines, but in this manga they never ever have anything interesting to say. All they ever do is repeat what's happening that we've already seen, so it's almost pointless to do, you know. So Moro starts charging up a energy ball, but of course Ultra Instinct kicks in, boom, just knocks that shit out of his hand. Take that, and then he elbows him right in the gut. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, the angles, even with this, with everything, the angles are great in this fight, and they were pretty good in the last chapter too. But if we notice, Goku kicks Moro, and he's like, you can tell that it hurts him a little bit, but he's not all that fazed by it. But then in the next shot, you see Moro pulling a Broly out on Goku and just starts slamming his ass on the ground. And you can tell by his facial expressions that this is actually affecting him a lot. Like, Moro's attacks are affecting Goku a lot, but Goku's attacks aren't affecting Moro all that much. So, really nice subtlety there. But Goku's like, nah, dude, I've been through this again, not again. So he does a really cool, like, yoga move to get out of it, an Ultra Instinct yoga move. To get out of it, and this is the point when you know that Goku is going to lose. Every time somebody pulls out the rapid fire technique, you're like, okay, this is just their last resort. They are desperate. And it quite literally never works either. Moro just powers right through it. And this is one of the wonky images. I don't know if it's just me, but in this image of Moro, he almost looked like a Hulk-sized Moro, you know? But that might be like the head to body size ratio. But this next bit of struggle is very intense when they finally get into their actual physical grapple lock. You can tell because they have massive veins popping out of their bodies. But we cut back to Whis, and Whis reveals something very interesting, and Maris actually says something very kind of dumb. It's like, how long can he keep that form up while fighting at full power? And it's like, Maris, weren't you doing that with him in the Room of Spirit and Time for quite a while? Like, you should know. But Whis essentially reveals that even if Goku was fighting at full power for a longer period of time, he would still lose to Moro, which was like a huge, oh shit kind of moment, you know? Which is interesting because when we cut back to the fight, Goku is basically wailing the crap out of Moro. And this might be my favorite panel of the whole chapter, of Goku just wailing the crap out of his face. And then he's like, eat this! But alas, Whis and Maris reveal that they did not count on Moro being this powerful, but they do say that, hey, you know, Goku usually pulls out all the stops when he's backed into a corner, and Whis is like, and Vegeta does too. And it's like, oh yeah, he's off on Yardrat perfecting his technique. which he essentially has made all these little Yardrets like down on the ground. Like, what was he doing to them? Because afterwards Paibaro like does something, like, was he stealing their energy, and then afterward Paibaro like gave them, like healed them up or something like that? Or maybe it's like a gravity technique or something like that. Who knows? He's like, all right, I'm done. Get me out of here to Earth. And Paibaro's like, I can't do that. Were you expecting a ride? I can't do that. And Vegeta's face after that, like such shock. He's like, what? I was not counting on that. What is going on? But they do say something weird. It's like they can only transport to people they know. Like, what? Does that make sense? Is that because they have to lock onto their spirit? So they can only transport on their own planet and only to people they've met before. Okay, very great use of a massively useful technique. But I guess that makes sense since they have to meet somebody to know their like key signature so that they can lock onto their key signature, aka or their spirit. So Vegeta's like, oh man, I'm screwed. Like, it's gonna take 10 days to take this spaceship back. Like, okay, you know what? We got like 1 minute. Teach me. Oh wow, that's cutting it pretty close there, Vegeta. So Goku is just struggling his ass off against Moro, and he's getting his ass wrecked at this point. There is no hope of winning, pretty much. However, as Whis put it, they have a tendency to pull out more potential when being backed into a corner, and that's exactly what Goku does. Which is interesting. He starts powering up, but I don't know if you guys noticed, but he has these little globules as part of his aura now, which are more indicative of a Super Saiyan Blue aura. So it's almost like he's tapping into the power of Super Saiyan Blue, like on top of his Ultra Instinct almost. But initially I actually thought he was doing something similar to what he did in the Tournament of Power when he was Super Saiyan Blue fighting against Jiren, and he powered up, and the concept was similar to the Kaioken technique. I don't think it exactly was the Kaioken, but he actually gets a hit on Moro here, and he's like, yeah, I gotta take that. But then Moro's like, what was that? Nah, mouth beam. And this is like, it's over. It's over. So Marisa's like, oh my god, like this is not good. Are we really not gonna intervene? And Whis is like, I don't fucking care. Like, that's not up for us to say. Like, that's for Beerus and the Supreme Kai to decide to intervene and stuff like that. So really interesting, like, little dialogue and a little bit more introspection into the angels and the gods and their role, which we essentially already knew, and Maris should know, so I don't really know why this was important to bring up, but I guess it's a little bit of a refresher. So Goku essentially has lost his Kaioken technique, and now he's just getting his ass stomped. So he's basically down for the count. But really awesome freaking entrance here by 17 and 18 for the save. Boom! Right before Moro can absorb Goku's energy. Boom! Like, they stand zero chance against him, but they're still going in for the win. And basically, they're the best ones to distract Moro. Because if it was Gohan and Piccolo, Moro could just easily steal their energy, as they note a little bit later. So I really enjoy this little segment. I was disappointed that we didn't get a 17 versus Moro battle because Moro's so freaking powerful. 17 can basically do nothing against him. But before we really get into their fight, we get a little bit of leverage from Vegeta trying to learn instant transmission, and he ends up transporting himself into a garbage can. Like, such hilarious stuff. And he's basically foreshadowing that he's never going to use this technique again. So I mean, it's basically Toyotaro covering his bases. Like, he needs a reason for Paibara and the other Yardrachians to never intervene in the hero stuff again. And he also needs a fast way for Vegeta to come in to save the day. So that is the reasoning. Like, Vegeta has only a minute to learn it. He might be able to pull it off once. So a little bit contrived, but I did enjoy it nonetheless. But what I didn't like about this is that Paibara basically puts him back in his regular old Saiyan outfit. And I was like, oh man, I was really hoping him to fight Moro in his Yard Rat outfit. But oh well, I guess it's just back to the same old, same old. But like, was he planning on doing that before? Like, what if he succeeded in instant transmission on his first time and didn't end up in a garbage can, you know? So he basically, really great stuff with Vegeta here. He says, hey, you know, I appreciate everything you've done. And I'm like, oh, whoa, it's not really like Vegeta just to say thank you to somebody like that. So good character stuff there. And for his second time trying it, Vegeta succeeds in transporting all the way from Yardrat to Earth on his second try. So to say that he will never be able to do it again, I mean, come on, like really, if he tried like at all or even trained a little bit in it, he'd be like super adept at it, I think, especially considering how much it seems he's accomplished in such a short period of time. But he's arriving basically in the nick of time as 17 and 18 are having a very difficult time with Moro. I don't know why they're lasting at all against him. I guess it's so that we can have a cool fight scene with them, because really he can just smack them down to the ground and be done with them, and that's it. But Moro actually says, interestingly, hey, you know, you have a lot of power. Too bad I can't steal it. Like, is he mocking them, or is he really serious about that? So 17 and 18 surprisingly are nothing to Moro, and Goku, Gohan, and Piccolo basically notes, hey, we should go in and save, but nah, like we shouldn't go in there recklessly, which actually notes that maybe they'll get involved if they're smart about their tactics. So Vegeta appears with a really awesome heroic angle of him standing above and in front of Goku, just like the hero of the story, which he kind of essentially is. Like, if you pay attention to the early parts of the arc in Namek, he was trying for his like retribution and trying to pay Namek back for like the things he did to them, which was really great. So Goku's like, whoa, is that instant transmission? Whoa. And Vegeta's like, no, I'm never gonna do that again, it's your technique. And I'm like, oh, come on. You know. But he's learned a far superior technique of his own, so that is what I cannot wait to see. He trades off with 17 and 18, faces against Moro, and he's like, you like picking on weaklings, man? And Moro's like, yeah, well, I guess I got too strong. This is no fun at all. And Vegeta's, well, dude, you know what? Somebody stronger than you is standing right in front of you. Boom! Signature Vegeta thumb technique. And I actually saw a meme on Facebook, which is pretty funny. Vegeta doing this stance and then getting his ass beat by Cell, Goku Black, and then Topo, which, yeah, with Cell, yeah, but later on he kicked Goku Black's ass, and then he went on and defeated Topo in the Tournament of Power, so that doesn't really count there. So I'm really, really hoping that Vegeta doesn't get the rug pulled out from under him here. So I'm thinking there's something that's gonna happen. Like 7-3 is still out there, and he probably still has his stealth technique. So what if 7-3 stealthily goes up, grabs Vegeta's neck, and then he essentially defeats Vegeta? That would suck. I would hate that. That'd be cool though. So I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. So boom, Vegeta rushes forward, cliffhanger. God damn, I can't wait till the next chapter. Obviously, tell me what you guys think down in the comments. Drop your thought waves down in the comments below. As always, thank you very much for watching, and take it easy.